is not supported by anything that you've heard of any of the literature, and it's not supported by the only thing that she cited in her own study. So, ladies and gentlemen, if this is not suicide, what is it? It's a homicide. In order for someone to be held criminally liable in the state of Ohio for a homicide, we have some statutes. And the ones we're talking about here are murder. And I wanted to give you a little piece of it just to help orient and understand what we're talking about. Count 1, murder. Count 2, murder. They are both called murder, but they have different elements, different things to look at. Count 1 of murder is for purposely causing the death of Emily Noble. And you heard the definition of purpose. Purposely is when it's your specific intention to cause a certain result. Now, what do you have that reflects on purpose? Dr. Smock tells you what it takes to strangle someone to death. It's not an accident. It's not a brief process. In order to strangle someone to death, you must maintain continuous pressure for somewhere between a minute and 2 minutes to cause death. That's purpose, ladies and gentlemen. It says, the purpose with which a person does an act is known only to him unless he expresses it to others or indicates it by his conduct. Anyone who is causing a death by manual strangulation must maintain that pressure for more than a minute. That's done purposely. Count 2, the other murder statute, doesn't require that proof of purpose. It requires proof that the death was the proximate cause of a felonious assault that you'll see in count 3. So 2 and 3 go together. If you find the defendant is guilty of felonious assault for knowingly causing serious physical harm, then you have to look and see if that serious physical harm led to the death. That's what the difference is between count 1 murder and count 2 murder. And again, you heard the testimony of Dr. Smock about the dangers of strangulation, about what happens as you put your hands or arm around someone's neck and squeeze. What happens to blood flow? What happens to oxygen flow? What happens with risks of hospitalization and death? That's serious physical harm. So even if you weren't convinced that this is a purposeful murder, if you're convinced that the defendant knowingly caused serious physical harm to Emily Noble, and that as a result of that offense, as a proximate result, she died, that's still murder in count 2. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we put together the border. We put together the outside of the pieces of the puzzle. This is not suicide. And now I ask you to look at the other pieces. Look at the other evidence now through that lens. Now that you know this is not suicide, let's look at the other pieces. This is a staged suicide scene. Who on planet Earth would have an incentive to stage a suicide other than the defendant? Random, unknown suspect, the Westerville strangler who's manually strangling women in the woods, wouldn't take the time, the effort, the care to stage a suicide, what would be the point? Who else, a random other individual, would have the tools and the items nearby or ready at hand in order to stage a suicide? The only person that would have any incentive to do that is the defendant. But it's not just staging the scene in the woods. I'd submit to you the evidence shows he was staging the scene the whole time. What do I mean? The defense version of events is that his wife, sometime after 1:30 in the morning, because that's when he saw her when he went to the other room, had to get up and go hang herself. Now, what do you need first? You need an opportunity for your wife to get up and leave the house without you knowing about it. Right? If you're awake, she couldn't have left without you knowing. So what's he say? Well, I went to sleep in the other room. What's he say? I took a sleeping pill. And he texts that even to a friend of his. Oh, I'm about to be out. I took my pill. And then he says he slept in unusually or abnormally late. How convenient. How convenient that the one day you sleep in is the day that your wife decides to get up in the morning and wander off into the woods and hang herself. So he's staging that scene with the text message that he sends to his friend, and he's staging that scene with his story about, look, I can't possibly know what happened early in the morning with my wife because I was sleeping later than I normally do. What else do you need? You can't know where your wife is when you wake up. They live in an 800 or 900 square foot condo. You saw how small it is. You wake up in the morning, you go to the bathroom and look out the door, oh, hey, my wife's not here. But no, that's not the testimony. What's he tell you that he did? What's he tell you? I woke up and I was laying in bed, and instead of getting off the couch and talking to my wife about our plans for the day, I texted her, are we going to this party or what? In an 800 square foot condo? Hey, are we going to this party or what? And then what's he do? Hits that Find My iPhone app, right? Because it'll give you, look, now when I pull out my phone records, if anybody ever looks at it, see, I sent her this text. I didn't know where she was, and I did Find My iPhone. But then he still never gets up? He still doesn't walk around? 3 hours later, he texts to this phone that he knows he's got no response on, that he knows is sitting in the house. I guess we aren't going? And what's he say about that in his interview? He says, oh, I guess we aren't going. Where are you? Oh, well, I didn't say the where are you part. Yeah, he forgot that. But again, it tries to leave a record, a stage scene to say, look, hey, I was in this other room. I woke up at 11 something. I sent a text. I had to do Find My iPhone. I had no idea where my wife was. What else do you need? You know that you've staged a scene to look like suicide. You know that there's a cord. So Emily Noble, if she was going to go kill herself, what does she need to be looking for? Something to hang herself with. Right? My wife got up, wandered off in the woods. I know that I've staged it to look like a suicide. I know that she's hanging by a cord. What does she need? She needs to have found a cord. What's the defendant draw Officer Hollis's attention to? Where does he take him? Right into the garage. And what's he point out? An orange extension cord. And he says, this is out of place. this isn't where it's supposed to be. This used to be here. Watch it again in the body cam. Officer Hollis immediately says, can she even reach that? Watch the defendant as how he has to reach to get that cord even off that hook. And he says, I didn't do it. I didn't move this. But you know what we do know? He was moving things right in that area, even while law enforcement was at the scene. Even after they'd already responded, even after he's already trying to talk to them about what happened, supposedly to his wife. That cooler is moved. There is now a flashlight there. And it isn't just that he moved it. It's that he, at the end, Officer Hollis and the defendant are standing out in the driveway. And he says, maybe I'm crazy, but you just got to come look at this. He leads him right there. He wants Officer Hollis to see it. Then look, here's this orange cord. My wife must have been looking for something to hang herself. But we know he's the one moving things around in that area. And it's not just the cooler. He even says, watch it. He even says, he shakes it, wobbles the cooler a little bit. He says, oh, even this isn't where it should be. Or she wouldn't like that. And he's the one that moved it. So, ladies and gentlemen, he keeps staging the scene throughout. What else is important?
All right, now he's cooking with gas. Finally, this prosecutor seems to be taking a really good turn with this close, being more accusatory with the defendant. And as you can see, getting the defendant upset. Look at the faces he's making. Look how he's turning toward his lawyers. I've been communicating with our Matt Johnson in the courtroom. He says the jury is deadpan right now. They're not making any expressions, but it's very noticeable to those in the gallery like Matt that the defendant seems to be a little bit up in arms, a little bit bothered by what the state is alleging here. We're going to hit a break. We'll get you right back in where we're leaving off after this.